Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch a beautiful day in the Ozarks. It's supposed to be in the 80s. That's low 80s. That's unusual for here this time of the year, but it's been that way all week. Dry and very, very windy. We're talking sustained winds of 35 to 40 miles an hour with gusts up to 60 miles an hour today. And then tonight, a pretty significant severe storm that will blow through the area. And I know some of you don't care. And I mentioned this yesterday, but not everybody watched the video yesterday, so I'll just say it again. The fire weather, if you live in kind of the Missouri, Ozarks, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kentucky, all that area, be careful of, well, just don't burn. Don't burn anything. You farms and homesteads and stuff, the risk is going to be significant, historic levels. The National Weather Service actually said yesterday that the fire risk for today is at historic levels. To give you a kind of a example, in the wildfire world, they have what's called the grass fire danger index, and it's an equation based on the dryness of the material, the grass and the leaves, the wind, the humidity, all that kind of stuff. A bad day for us, meaning that it could be, very dangerous, is 15 to 20, maybe 25. Really, when we really start to get concerned, it's above 25, maybe 30. Today it's going to be 68. So the risk for fire is quite great. It's at what's considered catastrophic levels. So please do not burn. I was busy all day yesterday, and I've already been busy this morning. Was busy last night at almost midnight, and I'm sure I'll be busy all day today. So, and that's not for me. It's for you all. You have fire services all around you. So give them a break and don't burn. So I think a blow to Trump, but you know what? Like I've said, they're all on the same team in a lot of ways. They're all playing for the same people, and I think a lot of this is all just it's like a play that's just playing out before us. But anyways, Donald Trump has been very, very vocal, very threatening in his tone towards Iran. More so than any other nation. It's the only nation that the president has openly talked about going to war against. Not using those words, but, attacking Iran because of nuclear weapons. I think there's a little bit of a personal vendetta because the claim is that the attempts on his life originated by Iran. Who knows if that's true? But that's the claim. So anyways, most of you know the story. The White House sent a letter to Iran demanding that they denuclearize, reduce their nuclear capabilities and all this kind of stuff, or else. Iran fired back at first and said they didn't get the letter. Then they said they did get the letter, but they basically said, no, we're not interested. It's not going to happen. Donald Trump had got Vladimir Putin to agree to negotiate some kind of peace deal between United States and Iran said no, they don't have any interest in coming to the table with the United States, none whatsoever. So instead, Iran, China, and Russia all met together on this nuclear summit to try to figure out the nuclear problem with Iran. And Donald Trump said, great, while you're there, if China and Russia could kind of, help calm Iran down and get them to back away from their nuclear development. And what I thought would probably happen did happen. It came out today that the summit is over, and China and Russia are praising Iran for their nuclear development and encouraging them to continue forward with it. So that's where that's going. Probably not the way that Donald Trump hoped it would be, but we'll see. Russia seems to be, Vladimir Putin seems to be kind of on the edge, a little flip-flop of whether or not he's serious about agreeing to a 30-day ceasefire. He's serious about agreeing to ending the war, but the 30-day ceasefire he's not so on par with. So we will see what happens with that. Now, I want to shift gears just slightly because, like I've been saying since the beginning of all of this, with this new administration, is that the big problems that I see are that the things that they're doing that look good, right? That everyone is praising them for doing, the reduction of government, that I think that there's a kind of a evil plan behind it. I've said for years that the new world order, this beast system, isn't going to necessarily be forced upon it. They have to do it in such a way that people want it to happen. They have to do it to where people beg for it. In fact, the Bible indicates that even the mark of the beast is a choice. It's not forced upon you. But people will choose it. They will want it. And so you have to understand that, and I was saying this quite a bit during the Biden, everyone's like, oh, this is bringing about the beast system. And I said, yeah, but they've got to do something to get all the conservatives on board, because it can't work really if it's like forced upon it. They want people to beg for it. They want people to want it. And so what we're seeing now is people are loving this DOGE, this Department of Government Efficiency, and all this cutting back. And I'll admit, it's great that it is happening. Now he's saying that he wants to cancel income taxes for anyone under $150,000 a year, except that just kind of penalizes people that are making more than that. So if you push yourself to be more prosperous and more productive and more profitable, then you have to pay. So that's not very libertarian, but who knows? Anyways, the point that I'm getting to is this. I want to show you this. This isn't necessarily recent, but this is on the World Economic Forum's website. And that part of their big deal, a lot of people thought the World Economic Forum was really their big deal was the COVID. No, it wasn't. They were quite clear that the COVID pandemic was just a vehicle to get them further down the road to their goals. Their big deal is artificial intelligence. Their big deal is rapidly advanced, massively advanced technology that will take over and basically run things. They've made countless promotional videos. They've done all kinds of talks. The internet is it's full of it. You can go on YouTube and you can find all kinds of talks and lectures and stuff where they openly talk about how, this AI and advanced technology is going to rule us. And it's a type of governance. This AI governance is what they're pushing for. That is exactly what's going on with DOGE, with Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency. And they're not being quiet about it either. It's interesting that neither the conservative nor the left-leaning media really talk about that. They don't really talk about how he's doing it. Now, if you listen to Elon Musk, because he gives talks all the time, ever since the inauguration, he's been doing talks and interviews a lot. He's very open about talking about what he's doing, how this works. But the news really isn't covering it. They're just covering the outcome. They're not covering how it actually is working. And it's a small group of people. I think it's something like 20 people, young guys. And all they're doing is feeding this information to artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is actually the one doing it. It's actually the one deciding what needs to be cut, who needs to be fired, what funding, what contracts, all this kind of stuff. And in fact, that's how Elon Musk's company, Twitter, pretty much is run for the most part. It's run by AI algorithms. And that's his big push, is to get us to that area. And the president has been extremely supportive of this. Just a few days after he was inaugurated, that's when they had all of those AI, company giants. They're talking about how AI is going to determine crimes. AI is going to be your doctor and write your prescriptions. And AI is going to do everything. It's going to fix all the world's problems. And that, with the cryptocurrency, all of it is pushing us towards this AI governance system. That's what's happening, folks. That's what's happening. I know the wars and the invasions of Panama. He's going to send a bunch of troops, he says, down to Panama. You know, he's still seriously talking. He's going to take Greenland. It's going to happen, he says, and make Canada the 51st state. And, you know, just all this other stuff. In the end, I think really, truly, it's just a big distraction. I mean, it still affects us. It still affects our daily lives, and we should prepare for it. But in the end, it's a distraction for the bigger thing that's going on. And the bigger thing that's going on is he's moving us very rapidly, much faster. I mean, you got to realize that the amount of space that, you know, on the field, let's say, that we have moved in the last 2 months in this area is far, far more than through the Biden administration. We're watching it rapidly advance towards artificial intelligence governance, AI governance, cryptocurrencies being used as currency, not just as an investment and something that's kind of cool and novel, but as our currency. Gold shot up over $3,000, first time record. That's huge. Silver's at 34 and getting close to $35. Everyone was saying that if silver can break the $33, go over $33, then, you know, all hell's going to break loose. And well, it's above it now. And gold is above 3,000. And we're watching the dollar lose value. So at some point, we're going to start seeing more of a transition over to this. You know, I mentioned just the other day, Elon Musk's company, if you've forgotten, he's also the guy that owns the company putting brain chips into people. And that company, Neuralink, just filed patents for telepathy and telekinesis. So, you know, reading brains, communicating through the brain chips, and the telekinesis, being able to actually move objects with your mind. We're getting into some really strange, crazy levels, and it should be very concerning for you folks that it's being done in a way to really, really rally the conservatives, and it looks like things are being done good. And here's the thing, and I've actually seen MAGA Republicans say this online, that they would be okay with this AI governance system if it kept government small and spending small and was run by, you know, Donald Trump or a MAGA conservative. It's still the beast system, folks. It's the exact plan of the World Economic Forum. That is the plan. You know, Trump has even talked about, you know, smart cities, of building smart cities and all that kind of stuff. Just yesterday, he had a person that he had submitted to be the CDC director for Senate approval, and they've rescinded that guy's application because they discovered that the guy was against the pokey poke. So it's not all as it seems, folks, and you need to kind of wake up. And this AI governance system that is being developed right before our eyes, while the conservatives that just a year ago, 2 or 3 years ago, were screaming from the rooftops of how dangerous it is, now those same people are supporting it. It's amazing how that happens. So yes, all these other things, wars and stuff, they're real. There's a real threat there, and they may really happen. But in the end, they're also a distraction, or the channel, the thing that moves us towards this new system, this golden era, this reset, this beast system. And that's what you need to be preparing yourself for, because it is happening right before your eyes at very, very fast pace. Very fast pace. You have to realize their goals to have this all implemented is supposed to be put into place during Donald Trump's presidency. They want it to be kind of in place by 2027. It's not that far away. It's less than 2 years, folks. And then by 2030, everything will be happening. It'll all be, you know, this beautiful oasis of peace and prosperity under the, you know, AI governance system. So you need to be waking up and getting ready for that. I know most of you already get that, but still, we have to be prepared because it is happening quite rapidly. Folks, get your houses in order. and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.